Now, the Department of the Interior announcing new offshore drilling safety rules this week. Interior Secretary Ken Salazar saying, quote, "There will always be risks associated with deep water drilling, but we will only lift the suspensions when I am comfortable that we have significantly reduced those risks." But critics say that moratorium is absolutely devastating the Gulf region and needs to be lifted immediately. Louisiana Senator David Vitter joins us this morning. Thank you for being with us, sir.
Thanks, Dave.
The deadline is November 30th to potentially lift this ban. First, tell us what type of impact you are seeing in the Gulf region as we speak this morning.
Well, the bottom line is this moratorium is costing us far more jobs than the oil spill ever did. And it's about to escalate because as time goes on, as uncertainty goes on, more and more major rigs are leaving the Gulf, and of course that means huge job losses. So that has begun, but I'm afraid it's beginning to really dramatically increase.
Yeah, an administration report said that they estimate between 8,000 and 12,000 jobs were temporarily lost because of this moratorium. But the question is, are they temporarily lost? You mentioned those rigs leaving. Will they come back, and will the jobs come back with them?
Not immediately, certainly. And Dave, there are all sorts of things about that report that I think way understate the situation. We had a hearing before the Senate Small Business Committee specifically about that report. That report is full of holes. For instance, it didn't even consider shallow water and the de facto moratorium there and all of the job losses there. Also, the administration witnesses said, we think the job loss that has occurred is stable, no more is going to occur. Well, that's completely at odds with dozens of companies thinking about leaving the Gulf now on an ongoing basis. It's clearly getting worse over time.
It is a tough position for the Interior Secretary Ken Salazar, as I'm sure you can relate. Should he not put safety first and make sure these new safety rules are first and foremost being followed by the oil industry?
Well, Dave, no one is saying not to put safety first. No one is saying to go back to the pre-Deepwater Horizon explosion lay of the land, not to make changes. That's not an option, but dramatic changes have been made, and I think he could have ensured that the situation was far safer weeks, if not months ago. And so I hope he lifts the moratorium immediately, but I think the even bigger question is, are we going to have a de facto moratorium on an ongoing basis for many more months to come?
Sure. Realistically, are you at all optimistic that this ban, this moratorium, could be lifted early before November 30th?
Yeah, I'm predicting it. I'm predicting that the formal moratorium will be lifted in October, maybe within 2 weeks. But again, the big issue to me is not that. It's whether the lay of the land the day after is really any different, or do we have a de facto moratorium that's 90% as bad? Unfortunately, I think so far the evidence is pointing to the latter.
The Gulf region certainly needs some good news at this point. Louisiana Senator David Vitter, thank you for being with us this Saturday morning.